Injured prisoners remain in a critical condition, and Mbalula denies newspaper reports. I'm Lebo Changela with this news update. Gauteng police say 4 of the prisoners injured during yesterday's explosion on a police truck remain in a critical condition in hospital. 3 prisoners were killed and 14 injured after an explosion in the truck transporting them to Johannesburg prison. It was taking 36 awaiting trial prisoners from the Randburg Magistrate Court to Johannesburg Central Prison. Police say preliminary investigations indicate the blast was part of an escape plot. 2 prisoners who tried to escape were recaptured. Gauteng Police spokesperson Neville Malila says investigations have already begun.
I'll be meeting with the investigation team later on. Remember, it's still early in the investigation. All the evidence were collected at the scene up till last night, and those were sent to our ballistic unit for testing.
Sports Minister Fikile Mbalula claims that newspaper reports about him saying President Jacob Zuma is politically bankrupt were a twisted conversation with the hope of fitting the headline. Mbalula says at no stage did he speak in the fashion the publication alleges he did about President Zuma. He says he would have said it on record if he had intended to. The Star's deputy editor, Kevin Ritchie, says the paper stands by its story.
I wish to state it that I distance myself from those particular reports in particular. And if I wanted to say anything of that sort, I will say it and on the record about what I believe in. In this particular instance, there is no such and it's totally disingenuous. And I distance myself totally from that.
The Medical Research Council has called for more investment into HIV/AIDS research. That's after South African scientists found that unique changes in the HIV virus in 2 HIV-infected women enable them to produce antibodies which are able to kill 88% of the most common type of the HIV virus. MRC President Salim Abdul Karim.
Last year, our government, combined with all its funding mechanisms, in total provided around 80 million rands for HIV research. The US government provided over 1 billion rands a year in AIDS research funding to South African scientists. That's a very large sum of money, and it's the kind of money we need to be able to sustain the kind of high technology research that we have to undertake.
And Glencore's 190 billion rand takeover of Mina Exwata looks set to clear a regulatory hurdle as the Competition Commission recommended that the deal be given the go-ahead. The Commission has concluded that the transaction is not likely to lead to less competition. Morafe Dabani reports.
Glencore, the world's largest diversified commodities trader, is still waiting for approval from EU antitrust regulators and China's Ministry of Commerce to buy the roughly 66% of Xstrata. The Competition Commission, where both companies mine thermal coal, says it recommends that the country's competition tribunal approve the deal subject to conditions agreed with Glencore regarding the employment of around 180 employees. Morafe Tabane, SABC News, Johannesburg.